Let us begin by becoming silent and grounding and opening up our sacred space. So take a few moments to bring your energy back in. Settle into the safety and security of the group and within your own being. Allow your body to begin to relax and release. And with your felt sense lower down in your body out of the mind, with your felt sense lower out of the mind into the body, distributing your consciousness from head to toe. If you picture your energy bubble, your energy field, you always see it surrounding your entire body, right? If you see illustrations of your energy field, it surrounds your whole body. So that energy field is your consciousness. And so your whole body is included in your consciousness. That may be another helpful way of remembering that you're not just a floating head, that your entire being is conscious and aware, including your lovely physical vehicle. And within that energy field, within your body, within your entirety of consciousness, exists your being as a radiant light in many worlds, in many dimensions. So we're moving quickly from limited body awareness to multidimensional awareness. Gently become aware of your seat and your root chakra. Inviting the lower back to release and soften. Just extending the invitation, no pressure, no pushing. Checking in with your calf muscles, inviting them to soften and release, opening up the avenue for the channels from the feet to the head to be clear and free-flowing. And becoming aware of the centers on the soles of your feet that connect you to the magnetism of the earth that feeds and grows you as a human being and as a multidimensional consciousness. We need this fuel from the earth in order to feel peaceful and content. And I'd like to just repeat the ground rules for the class: that no note-taking, no typing. Don't even try to remember cognitively. Don't put a stress on your mind to remember cognitively what we're doing here. In mystical circles, the content of the teaching is transmitted through energy, from the heart of the teacher to the heart of the students, from the heart of the guides to the heart of the teacher to the heart of the students, and ultimately from the students' own guides into their own hearts. Maybe the teacher is a catalyst at the beginning. And the commitment to confidentiality. And even though the class page is restricted to just the people in this class, when something is put out and made available, you have to make a commitment that it'll stay within the class. We're going to be exploring some really sensitive areas of our being, and we need to feel safe. And so if each one of you could silently to yourself make a vow of confidentiality, respecting your fellow spirit brothers and sisters in this class, and holding their beings in your sacred heart, which holds you to a different standard than, let's say, the common standards in the world today. So you're being invited to resonate to a higher frequency, a deeper way of knowing. Mm-hmm. Where honor and respect mean a lot. Thank you. Let's allow you to fill up a little more with the magnetism from the earth, relaxing a little more. Know that the greatest gift you can give the group is your calm presence, your grounded presence, where you're caring for your energy in a way that doesn't spill out into the group, but does have a way of recycling and renewing, first with grounding with Mother Earth and then Father Sky, and being in a recycling, reciprocal flow that manages your energy by bringing it back in balance. Now, the name of this class is the Enlightened Empath. And I'm sure a lot of people would argue with me about that title, but I am very committed to it. Very committed to it. The empathic being has such a range of sensitivities that depending on where they're focused and how they're managed can take you to the lowest of the lows and the highest of the highs. So, for instance, being empathic, when I read a sacred scripture, I can completely vibrate at the frequency of the sacred scripture and learn what that frequency is by my ability to empathically feel the frequency of that scripture. And when I say scripture, I mean anything from the Vedas to the Bible to any sacred writings. But that very same sensitivity, when focused on just thinking about a friend whose mother died 2,000 miles away, can flood me with the feelings of grief that the whole entire family is feeling. So one set of sensitivities can take me down, where I focus those sensitivities, and another focus can lift me up. And that's what we're going to be working with in this class. So my teacher, my Sufi teacher used to say to me, one of the primary teachings of the Vedas is whatever you focus on, you become. And he would say, if you focus on the illusion, you become the illusion. You become entangled. If you focus on the divine, on the light, you become the divine light. And he would say that, and I would be so frustrated because it's not like they give you an instruction book necessarily on how to do that. They do. I mean, if I could read Sanskrit, it really would be outlined in there probably as an instruction book on how to do it, but I'd still have to apply the instructions. But the energetic practices that we do are training for becoming masterful at directing our focus. And so he would challenge me with that, and I took up the challenge of that for years and years and years and years and years to come. I'm not done with it. But that is, I share that with you because that teaching, as I pursued it, taught me everything about the spiritual path. Just from going, like getting entangled in the illusion, remembering that it's my focus that's entangling me, and then seeing what it took to change that focus into a focus aimed at the light or the divine within my heart, taught me about all my attachments, all my greed, all my jealousy, everything that would keep me from focusing deep into the light within. So we weren't covering more than a millimeter of distance within physical reality, but the entire spiritual path was in that shift of focus. Now let me pause here and any questions on what I've just said? Not comments, questions. So tonight we're going to begin with, that's the overall teaching, but the first thing we want to begin with is validating that yes, being an empath or a highly sensitive being is a valid state of being. You're not crazy. It's hard to control. It makes living very challenging. It's a type of nervous system and brain configuration that is recognized now. Now, up until recently, we really didn't have a way of self-identifying the state. It was still rather vague. But they're doing more research on it now. So the way that maybe ADD and autism spectrum was 20 to 30 years ago, where there was not much known about it, and now they know more about it. The highly sensitive person and the empathic person is another style of nervous system activity that probably explains a lot to you when you look back on your life now. So we're each sensitive, highly sensitive, or empathic in different ways, in different constellations of being. And I gave the example of one of my students at Baldwin Wallace who, as a child, couldn't go into a restaurant, couldn't go into Walmart. She would become flooded, overwhelmed, start tantruming, and her parents would have to take her out. Her nervous system could not take those environments. And her parents, when she was about 10, took her to SeaWorld, and they walked into the arena where the Shamu show was, and she burst out into tears, couldn't control her
cut out.
Are we here?
Mm-hmm. I think maybe she fell off.
Oh, she's getting back on. Hold on.
Okay, great.
Hold on 1 minute. Class?